You're listening to the Joel Martin Mastery Podcast, your source of music news, stories, and 2-hour deep dive interviews with bands that have sold over 150 million albums. If you've been enjoying the podcast, please take a moment to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Now let's dive in to today's episode. Welcome to the Joel Martin Mastery Podcast. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. We are joined by a very special guest. He's achieved a level of mastery as a multi-platinum singer-songwriter who's now the frontman for a new supergroup called Wrecking Room. The band also consists of members of Default, Finger 11, and My Darkest Days. So welcome to the podcast, Lukas Rossi. Lukas, how are you? And is it true that you're also a painter and a clothing designer?
Yeah, actually, yes. Thanks for having me, by the way, man. Besides the music stuff, I've been doing that for so long. I guess I kind of got a little antsy and decided to try painting. My wife was a big influence on that and fully supported me with that. And I just put the paint to the canvas, and I thought it was going to be kind of meh. But you never know with art. What beauty's in the eyes of the beholder, so they say. And then after that, I guess I have like 60 paintings. This one's mine. Those two, that's me and my wife. And then this is just some crazy anime type weird chick, demonic schoolgirl. I just like art, man. It doesn't hurt to try. I'm a firm believer of like, I'm gonna take risks because we're only here so long, man. You never know what'll happen,
And when do you think you got started with the painting?
Probably like almost 2 years ago. My cousin's a pretty big painter. Actually, his paintings are like go for like 1.5 million, like crazy stuff. I know. I was like, what the hell? He does massive murals and 3D type stuff, and I actually grew up, when I'd go over to his house when I was just a youngin'. He was, a visual artist, and I'd see his paintings everywhere, or drawings, and I was like, wow, that's incredible, man. Like, he also got me into music and like Neil Young and stuff like that. So, Jason, thank you for that. You're a big reason that I'm a maniac with the arts, man.
So you're telling me that within 2 years of starting, you painted the paintings behind you.
Oh, absolutely. And it's just I don't look at anything. I don't look at stuff and try and duplicate. I just put the paint to the canvas, man. I see what happens. I mean, this one actually started upside down. It was supposed to be an angel. Like the head was like here where her belt is right there, and then the wings kind of went down that way, and it looked awful. It did not look like an angel. It looked like a homeless Santa or something. Like, I don't know. It was just not good. So I was really discouraged with that. And I'd play I'd paint a bit behind me, and then I would, play a video game or watch some YouTube, whatever, just to get out of my headspace and like visually, because you get too enthralled in it, and give yourself a break from that. And every now and then I'd turn back and look at it, and I go, ugh, like, what was I thinking? So then that one moment I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna kind of start over. But instead of like erasing it, I just flipped it upside down, and I drew the head on her, and her little grumpy face, and then it just evolved. That took just probably a day, not a whole day, just like, once you get your premise, then it's just like songs, right? Once you get the meat of it, the rest is, I think, just a lot easier.
I think after 2 years, I'd still be on the stick figure phase. So I'm pretty impressed with the artwork you have behind you. What if a fan of yours wanted to get in possession of a Lukas Rossi painting? Is that possible? Do you do paintings by request, or are you not there yet?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I do sell my pieces, and I would take custom ones. I guess just hit me up on my Instagram, and you never know what'll happen. And the clothing part's fun. Like, I did this, and there's a big like skater dude on the back, and it's really cool, man. I just take, I guess what it's called is repurpose. So I'll take like a shitty pair of jeans that are just jeans, and then I'll mangle them to my whatever's going on in my head, you know. And that too, but they're one-offs, you know. Clothing, I don't have like a factory where I can mass print stuff, and so that's the only setback. Maybe one day, but for now, yeah, I'll do one-offs of anything. If people enjoy it, then let's get it, you know.
After interviewing hundreds of these successful musicians, you realize every musician has their own quirks, their own habits, their own things that they like to do to pass the time. I hear that you have an exquisite taste in sunglasses. Is this true?
I am kind of a maniac. Well, I am. That I am guilty of that pleasure of mine. I see, like, I don't know if they're here, but I have like a bushel of potentials for the day. You know, like, um,
What exactly becomes a bushel? How many glasses do you need for it to now be a bushel versus just a handful or a few?
there's a bushel and then there's a bushel. Like
Oh,
these, yes, yes. I just love it. You know what I mean? It's like it's a change of character. I find that clothing is like a uh an escape, you know? You can escape. We all get a little bored and settled, I think, in just that's the way we have to look because it's the way we look type shit. But that's bullshit, I think, man. Like, um, or else we'd all be wearing the same thing, just different sizes. You feel me? Like, why not experiment and just open up a new door and see what happens? It just changes your not personality, but the way you feel, you know. And I think that's a wonderful escape, and that in itself is an artistic expression, you know. I love that. I love that stuff. It's really cool, man.
so I have a funny story about sunglasses that I think you'll enjoy. So every year when it gets cold here in Canada, I'm in Ottawa, I always head somewhere where it's
Ooh,
warm, Mexico, Cuba, Dominican, somewhere to survive the winters in Canada. And every year, my sunglasses always break in transit before I get somewhere hot. So my mom bought me a hard case just so my sunglasses could survive this trip. So I just went to Cuba before it got weird with the gas and oil and not being able to get home. So for the first time ever, I put my sunglasses in this hard case and they make it all the way to Cuba. And the first time I put them on, I'm going for a walk and the sun isn't out. So I just put them on my hat. I forget about them and I take off my hat
oh,
and they smash on the ground. So the case made it so they survived to Cuba, but then they broke the first time I used them. So it was all for naught.
you needed the sunglass leash.
Is
You
that a
know,
thing
that's it's
around
that
the neck?
it. Well, yeah. I mean, that's why God created collars. I think for like so you could just go whoop, just put it on. Um, or the old man uh trick where they put those the frickin' that little it's like little whatever, old ladies are like, oh, I can't see frickin' and then it's chain and that, but I'm also a little I am far-sighted, so if I took my glasses off right now, like you're blurry as fuck right now to me,
I get more
like you look
handsome the more
like,
blurry the video gets. So you can
oh, you look
keep the
hot as
glasses
hell
off.
right now.
Oh, there you
Are
go.
you single?
It's the Brad Pitt filter. When things get more fuzzy for me, I look better. So
It's the beers. It's like beers. Yeah. You look like my fucking drummer right now. It's crazy. See, and
Rich.
now you're Joel. See? Yes, you look you look like Rich.
So
Rich?
I have a
Fucking
I have a funny story. So I interviewed Rich, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, like in the early days of the podcast, and he's come back on since then. But the first time I interviewed him, I shared a picture of me as a 14-year-old and a picture of him
yeah.
in the Drag You Down video for Finger 11, and he was my hero. So I had bleached hair and I had the spikes, all the tips, and we
Oh,
both had
dope.
the collar. So I actually was a huge fan of his. and I thought he looked so awesome and badass that I tried to look like him. In the picture, we looked the exact same. And during the
Oh,
interview,
that's
we
so cool.
realized that we're both wearing toques and black shirts, like we look the same again. So when you mentioned I look like Rich, I actually that's what I was trying
You
to do as a teenager.
you do look like him. Like it's remarkable actually. Now that I've like brought it up, it's kind of like Will Ferrell and the guy from
Yeah, Chad
Red Hot
Smith.
Chili Peppers. It's so close. It's eerie, man.
It's funny
So
because
if
he's
he
like
ever
he's
if
like 6'5" and I'm like 5'5". So he got the good genes on that end.
so if he ever screws up and I need a drummer, are you available?
For a music
Right
video, I
on.
can fake it, but live it might not go
Yes,
over that well.
doppelgang it. It's okay. Rich fakes it too. JK, I love you.
That's awesome. So I like to start these interviews by sharing with the listeners how the guests and I know each other. So you might not know this, but we go back to 2013 as friends on Facebook, even though we haven't really communicated that much. That's how far back we've been friends on Facebook. And then in the early days of the
Wow.
podcast in 2022, you provided kind words for the Standstills when I interviewed them. So that was a long time ago. You might forget that as
Oh,
well.
I remember that. I
Yeah. So
love them. I love them. They're
that was
such wonderful peeps.
2022. And then since the announcement of your new supergroup Wrecking Room, I had already interviewed the other three members. So Dave from Default, Sal from My Darkest Days, and then Rich from Finger 11 and Saint Asonia. So I've been promoting since you've announced the band and when there's a new single and when there's a new music video.
Oh,
And it felt like the universe would only align and everything would be complete once I finished interviewing the entire Wrecking Room band. And then it's 4 out of 4. We did the Fantastic Four. I felt like this had to happen. And here we are today with this interview. So it's the full band complete.
that's so cool, man. The circle is a circle now.
It's a perfect circle, one might say.
That's right. Love that band. That's so cool, man. Wow. Yeah, the universe, God, I believe, he doesn't use the same timepiece that we use, you know. He's very sneaky in his ways, which is wonderful. It keeps us guessing and moving forward, you know.
We're going to do a full 2 hour deep dive interview. We're going to cover your life, your career, your discography. There's so much to get to. You've already had this crazy career with all this wild success and different groups and projects. There's so much going on right now and a lot coming ahead in 2026. So we're going to get to that. But first, I want to get started all the way at the beginning. Where does this love of music come from? Is there an earliest musical memory that stands out to you?
I love to do like pro dancing, and the music like hip hop and like Run DMC and Public Enemy and shit. I mean, it would go from that to like Huey Lewis and the News, like Back to the Future 2, like Hip to Be Square and shit like that. Like I remember watching that movie going like, oh, it's so good. The Power of Love, like boom. When he's on
Doing
the
it all for my
skateboard, he
baby?
clicks it up and catches it. Yeah, I was like, that's cool as shit. I think that I did like that's why I wanted to start skateboarding because of the song in that I couldn't skateboard. I was freaking awful, bro. I did one ollie, fell on my ass, and I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm never doing this shit. I don't get skateboarding, bro. That's just punishment, bro. You screw up one and you're mangled, you know? I don't get it.
I feel like Rich must have skateboarded at some point. He has a skateboarder kind of vibe to him. Do we
Hmm.
know this? Can we confirm? That might be fake news.
He's actually a like a dancer too, bro. He's in the video that we just released. Um, he's doing like a lot of like freeze shit. That's so cool. Like, uh, you got it if you watch it again. And like he's doing all these weird pause movements, and I was like, dude, I came up when they were filming. I was like, that is so sick. I've never seen a drummer do that. Like, we have to incorporate that live. I think that'd be super entertaining, man. And he was like, yeah, man, I used to like dance into dance big time. Like I was like, me too, bro. Like, so we have that in common, man. He's way sexier than I am though when he dances. He just oozes delish.
And at what point did you go from just loving music, seeing it in movies and hearing it, to you yourself becoming a musician, singing, playing guitar, songwriting? When does that come into play?
I grew up with these on like a cul-de-sac, and my best friends, there was John and his brother Bill, and Grant, um, who was a little down the road, and we were, we played street hockey and stuff like that, and we were playing hockey one day, and we heard like, and there's a schoolyard across the road, like this like elementary school, and there was this kid playing a guitar, and he had an amp. It was so weird, like it was just by himself, like plugged into the wall, like back in the day when they actually had, you could plug stuff into a school. Now they don't you can't do that, I know. But there's this kid playing, and we were like, what's that sound? Like we didn't even know what it was, right? And Grant, who became our guitar player in my first band, Cleavage, he was like, I don't know, and he ran over, and then I was like, where did he go? Literally about 22 minutes later, this dude comes back with the guitar and this little amp, and he's like, I went over and I asked my mom for $25 and she let me buy it. And he's like, I'm gonna learn this shit. And I was like, what is it? It's like a what is it? He's like, it's guitar, dumbass. I know, but like, you're gonna learn how to play that? He's like, yeah. And his parents, he was half Jamaican, half Swedish, very stern family. They would make him play piano lessons, and he could not come out and play and do nothing. Couldn't come out of the house till he learned like Chopin and like just hard shit, dude. And like he's a virtuoso. Like he learned guitar, man. I tell you, in like a week, he was playing riffs, and I was like, "Whoa, this is insane! Like we have to like do something." And then John, my best friend, who became the drummer, goes, "We should start a band, man." And I was like, "A band?" I go, "Oh, what? What do we do?" That's how young we were, and we he and John, actually, his dad was a drummer, so he had a freaking full kit in his basement. It was just like meant to be Kismet shit, dude. And slowly but surely, and then Bill, his brother, became the bass player. Why not? And then I was like, well, what should I do? Like play a freaking tambourine or some shit? I don't know. Like, um, but then John goes, what about that shit that you do when we go out? And you always do that operatic, like, oh, like that. And I do it for a joke, like Pavarotti type shit. And I was like, but that's just a joke. He's like, dude, nobody can do that shit. And I was like, yeah, what do you mean? It's easy for me to do it. And he went, so that doesn't mean everybody can do it. And that really gave me the, the strength to, to not feel like cowardice about it, and like to at least try. So I was like, okay. And right across the road was at school, earmuffs kids at home. We went across the road to the school, and it was like after hours in the school, so all the teachers were gone, but the front doors were open, and they had this assembly, and there was two mic stands, two mics, and like I guess where they're having like a some presentation. No one there. We stole both mics, ran across the street, started jamming and shit. Like we should have got arrested. You know, we were young. We were like freaking what, 15 or some shit. Like just dumb. We didn't even know what arrested was. But it was kind of like a sign, like, not learn how to steal and start a rock band, but we got away with that. And forgive me, but it was just pretty funny and cool that like, what are the chances that that's just so weird, right? Like, so it's almost like I had to, I already did the bad thing, so I have to commit to this as well. And we started writing. John's father, the drummer, he started to, he was like a lyricist, I guess. So he was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool. You guys are starting about, I'm a lyricist." And I was like, "Oh, fucking what?" So he'd always bring in like lyrics, like, "Here, Luke, try to sing this." And I was like, "Oh my God." And they were like super like dad lyrics. Like there was one song called Iron Horse. It was about riding a motorcycle and shit. And I remember it to this day, dude. And slowly I evacuated that idea and started writing my own lyrics as soon as I knew what, songwriting and that was about. But it's just super funny looking back and talking about it. These steps to where I am today, man. Like, wow, it's pretty cool, dude.
And what was the music scene like back then around 1995 with your band Cleavage? Do you remember the first show you guys ever played?
I actually do. It was a battle of the bands at this community center called Frontlines. And I remember one of the bands was this like stoner type band called The Quiet Room. I remember that this was like 35 years ago, brother. But these guys they sounded like the Doors a bit. They're our age too, but they were decent, you know. And we took on this job like it was our last job, and we never stopped that. We rehearsed six days a week for 5 hours a day, and like we if anybody missed it, no one could come. Like, you need to be on your shit, like on your game, don't fuck up. Like, we took it super super serious, like the military. And so anyways, there was this battle of the bands, and we went and we fucking destroyed them. We got first place. And um I don't remember I don't remember if we won anything, but I just remember going, wow, man, like, we're actually good, and that was another shot in the arm for us. And then I think from that moment on, it was like, this is it, bro. Like, this is what we were fucking meant to do, you know?
I have some kind words sent in from the bass player from the Salads and former bass player for I Mother Earth. And
Oh, rad.
he goes all the way back to those days from the late 90s as well as the early 2000s. So this is from Chuck Daly, and he says, Lucas and I go way back. I love him so much. I
Yeah.
played on a track with him last year. Neil from 3 Days Grace produced it. It's badass. The Salads used to play a lot of shows with Lucas's band back in the late 90s and early 2000s. I love that he's always been 1,000% true to himself. I see an awesome guy like Lucas as a living, breathing, walking piece of art. So that's from Chuck Daly, I Mother Earth, and the
Oh, man.
Salads.
Oh, I love you, buddy. That's so sweet to say, dude. Yeah, they were amazing. They were amazing, bro. I remember going like, every time we did play with them, I was like, we got a lot of work to do. Got a lot of work to do. So technical and tight, But it's bands like that keep you on your toes. There's no slacking around because our band, their band, it's a grind. When you even if you play shows together and you have that common camaraderie, and that's that, you're in that world, it's still a competition, no matter who's opening or who's closing. Like, we took it like that. Like, we will leave this place bloody, beaten, and sweating like crazy. Like, you leave it on the mat, and that's I think those are the ones that are left, like Chuck and me. And like, that's just the way you breathe.
In 2004, you signed a publishing deal with EMI Music Canada. Can you share with our listeners what is publishing?
Publishing is you basically give away a percentage of your songwriting money, I guess you'd say, to companies in hopes that they will shop you a record deal, or you get sync opportunities, like, songs played in television and movies and what have you, or commercials. Yeah. So it's basically like a split endeavor where one party does one and the songwriter does what they do. If I were to give advice to anybody, I wouldn't give your fucking publishing away to nobody nowadays because people are too lazy to do shit anymore, and it's a dog eat dog world. I mean, especially with all this AI crap, um, and everybody, who has a laptop, they think they're a freaking music producer nowadays. That's not the case. I mean, I've self-produced 21 of my own records over the years, played every instrument on them. Um, and that just comes from like having that vigor, man. It's musicians got it really hard, dude. We always will, but now it's even worse, you know. And the publishing end is, if you happen to find it's all who you know, I guess. So if you happen to find somebody who can get your music to that next level or in front of people, then you will retain the core um, capital of whatever becomes of that particular piece of art.
What opportunities presented themselves once you signed that publishing deal? Were there some good things that came out of that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm here today because of that. Rock Star Supernova, Barb Seaton, who signed me, she was the one who told me about the audition, and she paid for my plane ticket to go out to Vancouver to audition. I mean, I was living on the street um, in Montreal, and she got in contact with me and like literally begged me to do it. And I was like, I don't want to be on no TV show bullshit. Like that's just not that's not where my head was at. But then, because at first it was supposed to be, she said it was Van Halen looking for a singer. I'm like, that's not at all what I wouldn't even want to pretend to be that. But then she called a couple weeks later. She was like, I was wrong. It's Tommy Lee and Jason from Metallica and Mötley Crüe and Guns N' Roses looking for a singer. And I was like, that's dope. I could do that, but I don't have to do their music, right? Like, did they want to do a whole new band, like new music? And like, yeah, I was like, problem is, I don't have a penny to my name, like I'm living in a bowling alley, minus 40 degrees, a shut down bowling alley, like freezing, dude. And she's like, don't worry, I believe in you. I'll pay for your plane ticket. I know you can do it. Once they hear you, just trust me. And I was like, all right, got nothing to lose. And I was, I would have still been fighting for any opportunity to this day, even if that didn't come abreast.
So this is in 2006. You fly to Los Angeles. There's 15 contestants that are trying to win this reality TV competition. The singer becomes the front person for this super group, which you mentioned, members of Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Mötley Crüe, and you won the whole damn thing. Once you got there, and there's 15 of you, what did you think the chances were that you would win all of this, or were you just confident right off the bat that you could pull this off?
Oh yeah, and I said it in many interviews. There are a bunch of people that were like, "You sound like you have an ego," and I was like, "It's not about ego. It's about how much I believe in that. This is my life. Like this has to be like destiny. You know what I mean? If you work harder than me, if you are better fit than me, if you can outperform me, then by all means, I'll be your biggest fan. I'll support you, but no fucking way. Like, no way. You know, it's kind of like a boxer, Mike Tyson don't go into the ring. I love Mike. He's a good friend. I'll tell you a story about him later. But if he don't go into a ring saying like, I may lose. No, you can't do that. You've already lost if you do, you know? So yeah, there was no going back home. No way.
I'm a big UFC fan, and they always say that to be a fighter, you have to be completely delusional. Like, you have to believe whether it's possible or
Yep.
not, that you're going to win this fight, that you can be the champion of the world, because people don't actually achieve those insane goals unless they have that amount of disillusionment, you know? So you have to believe it first, right? You have to see it and then it can become a reality. If you don't see it from the start, it can't become a reality.
That's true. It's absolutely true, man. You could doubt yourself out of reality. You could be yourself. I mean, and that holds true to today, everybody in the world. If you don't have confidence, if you don't feel confident, and it goes back to the glasses thing. I mean, I may switch these out and put on a red pair, then I feel kind of fiery that day, or you know what I mean? Like it's all in your mind. Your mind is the most powerful thing. I mean, supposedly if we could access certain parts of our brain, we could freaking move shit. I don't know about that, but I do believe it's a possibility. I don't know why there are parts of our brain that we don't even understand. I mean, we can go to past the moon and shit, but you know what I mean? Like maybe we're not allowed to see that. But what we are allowed to discover is very, very powerful, man. Stronger than any muscle you can imagine.
When you think back to your time on Rock Star Supernova, what thoughts, memories, emotions come to you now? Because that really kickstarted this journey you've been on for the last 2 decades.
Jeez. You bet like being on that show or
Yeah, the
what do you
period of being on the show, winning it, and then for a few years afterwards, that's what you're doing.
I think the responsibility of being a public figure, a role model. I mean, people are going out as on Halloween dressed like me. Like I was like, whoa, this is a lot more than um, just being a songwriter. A lot of responsibility. So you can't use that and then flush the world behind you. You know, I I kind of I kind of went on that road for a bit because uh, there's a lot of dirty magic in being a celebrity, which a lot of people abuse, which we see a lot of today online and what have you. But I thank God I pulled myself out of that, and good people as well reminded me of who I am and what it's not about money or chicks or any of that bullshit. It's about where you come from. I know it sounds cliche, but it's so true because that's what kind of got me out of it was thinking of me in that freezing, abandoned freaking bowling alley, dude, going, do you want to go back to that shit and just keep acting like this? And that was it. And the fans, when I hear like my songs have saved their lives, they were gonna commit suicide, and that I will never forget that. And every time I write a song, I always think of lyrical content and that, you know, because that's what we do it for, man. That's why people listen to it. They don't listen to it because it has the cool fucking drum beat. They listen to it because it does something to their life, or maybe it's a puzzle piece that was missing, which is miraculous, and I have the honor of helping with that. That to me, there's nothing more honorable.
I put out the requests for fan questions once we book this interview. And we have a fan question here from someone that became a fan while you were on Rockstar Supernova. This is from Evelyn Withrow. She starts by saying, if you could tell Lukas that I think he is an incredible musician and that when I was a teenager, I used to love bonding with my mom by sitting down together and watching Rockstar Supernova to cheer Lukas on. I always knew you would be the one to win. My question is, our lives are often shaped by our thoughts, opinions, actions, and experiences. What is an experience that you went through that wasn't good, but it ended up in the end changing your life for the better?
Getting a divorce from my ex-wife. It would just being honest.
There's one bad thing that ended up being a good thing when you look back.
Well, I found my real wife, Ronnie. And if I didn't go through that horrific ordeal, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have met the love of my life, you know. And I now know what like real real love is from a woman, you know. And I know how to give more love, it not even in return, but just now I know someone is receiving it and not sloughing it off, because that you know that really could hurt somebody in you know, musically. For myself, you know, musically, emotionally, um I think everything is encompassed when you have a partner, man, and you're just getting slagged on and you manipulated, you know, because of, you know, when you start to get, when you first meet somebody, everything is great, you're in that honeymoon phase, but then they get to know you, and it could be guy, girl, whatever, and then they start being like, ah, don't be a fucker, or and they just act totally different and like absolutely different personality because they think that they know how to maneuver and orbit you into their own universe, their fucked up shit. That's super treacherous, you know. That's super treacherous, and some people love, they live off that shit, you know. But I don't have to live off like by that anymore. I don't have to submit to the finality of gross shit, you know. Just like, don't need to. I thought that was the end of, you know, that was my last chance, that, you know, I got married, fuck, okay, that's, I gotta, you know. And I never believed in divorce and stuff like that. But yeah, God just was like, it's not over yet, son, you know. And now I'm here.
You must feel a lot lighter. It feels like there was a lot of weight
Oh,
with that.
oh man, I got weights holding me down right now, brother. I'd be freaking,
That's
you know.
funny. Do you think that a part of why you won Rockstar Supernova, besides obviously your stage presence, your talent, your awesome vocals, that a big part was actually making excellent song choices?
Yes. Well, I mean, the majority of those songs, if you could recall, I didn't care after a while, because they would have song choice night and they would be revealed like on the DL, you know. They would put the songs up in this room, and you just happen to like, if somebody happened to walk by and check on it, and they'd be there, right? Um, they would fight over it, and it was just so lame. Like I remember seeing the playback, you know, after the performance night. They would like show how catty, and it was great television, because we were like, well, I want to do the song. They're like pulling it away from the other person, and they're like, well, you know, you did that. Like I think I should do it. And I was just sitting there going, oh, this is so lame. Like, they're just songs. Like, you don't have to do it like that. They're all great songs. History has shown us that. Just take the song, shut up, and have fun. Like, you get a chance to show your voice, your talent. It's not your, like, it's just a song, but turn it into something like, this is part of showing your creativity. You know, how mindful you could be, being an artist and putting your own spin on it, you know? And so I'd most times just be like, let them all fight over it. I'd be by the pool having a beer and not care. And I'd go in, and the last one would be up there. And one was like Bon Jovi, uh, Living on a Prayer. Like, and I was like, cool. Dope.
Bon Jovi's hard to sing, so it's a good thing that you have a huge vocal range.
Well, and I didn't do it like at all like Bon Jovi. And I remember Tommy, after I performed it, they'd have their commentary, the band would, and Tommy said, Lukey, when I heard that you were doing that song, dude, I was like, oh no. Because it's kind of like it's cheesy, you know, it's like that, you know. Um, but he goes, but what you did to it was mind blowing. Like, I don't know, because it's a 4/4 like time signature, and I did it like a 6/8 3/4. Like, yeah, and no band. I was like, I don't want the house band to play with me. I just want to do it by myself. And the guitar was upside down too. I'm a left-handed guitar player. I was playing a right-handed guitar upside down in front of like 50 million people or something. But I mean, that's why we're there, you know? You're not always gonna get the best circumstances to show your musicality. Just do the best with what you got and then move on.
You win the competition, and then you guys release your self-titled debut album. It charts at number 4 in Canada and goes platinum. Do you remember receiving the news that this album had gone gold and then platinum?
Yes, we were at the opera house downtown, and they brought it out. They brought our plaques out to us after the show, and I was like, I cry. I was crying on stage. I just like that really that really just showed me that all of the stuff I had to go through with my family and being estranged from my parents and being homeless and eking my way through life really meant something. And there was, God watching over me the whole time because I'm standing there in front of all these people adoring, screaming, and it was just such a wonderful feeling, man. I'll never forget that day, you know. And the coolest thing is the song that got us those accolades was a song I wrote about like a month before I went and auditioned, Headspin. So I mean, that's just whoa. Like I basically did that by myself. I had my boys, God bless them, Supernova to get me there. Like because of what they've done, they put me on a stage in front of all you guys, and I got to tell you the story of my life in 3.5 minutes, and it did what it did.
Not only did that album go platinum, but the song Headspin went platinum. Was that extra special? Because, like you mentioned, that was your song, even if this show doesn't exist.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That blew my mind because I thought it was just gonna. I thought it was just gonna be what we wrote together as a band, but because that song was just untouched, it didn't really need to be touched, fortunately. And I got to play it a bunch live on that show, which is insane. They don't do that anymore. Like there's no talent shows or anything like that. Like American Idol, you can't go on and sing your own song 3 times. You know, there was one time I was in the bottom three, which they called it. Like if you didn't get a certain amount of votes, you'd have to do a song to redeem yourself. And they're like, "What song do you want to do?" I was like, Has been, of course,
Yeah, even if
like
I get the boot, at least
that
I
was
can do one of my own songs again.
exactly. So yeah, I thank Mark Burnett and Tommy and all the guys for just giving me you guys. I get to do this for a living and just very blessed, man.
Do you remember the first time hearing your own music on the radio? Was it Rockstar Supernova, or did you get radio play with the bands before that?
I believe it was with Stars Down, my band before. No, maybe it was. I think Cleavage. Yeah, we got one song played, but it wasn't like in heavy rotation or anything. I remember we were like doing a tour in a van, and it came on the radio in like Sudbury or some crap, and I was like, oh, we're gonna be famous. We're gonna be, oh, with the youthful dumb shit. Oh, we're gonna go to the Grammys and that shit. It was just great, man. Anytime you get any love, especially with music, there's so many people who can write music and touch people with their music. Now, to get your chance to shine it's an honor, man.
You ended up going on a tour, US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. This is in 2007. Do you have any favorite memories from that tour?
Oh, many. Damn. Uh, there was one interview. Well, there was a couple. We had me and Tommy. Oh, there's shit. I got so many now flooding to my brain. There was one time in Australia. Um, they have like a Grand Prix there where they do like the car races and shit like that. And there was like the super famous racer. I don't follow it at all, but I guess the entire world knew who this cat was, and he wanted to take me and Tommy around like a victory lap type thing where he would do those like slides, those drifting and shit. And I drank heavily the night before. Oh yeah. Um, so he takes us out in a Ferrari, okay, drifting, and he's like, "Oh, come on, let's go. I'm gonna take." And I was like, "Where?" And he's like, "Around the track." And Tommy's like, "Come on, duty man, let's go." And I was like, "Oh," and I'm like hungover like crazy, dude, like not good. So Tommy sits in the front, dude's driving, I'm in the back, and I'm like, he's like, "Buckle up," like, I'm like, "Oh, I'm already buckled up," and dude's ripping, and dude, he's going like NASCAR speed, and he's drifting, and I'm in the back like I'm fucking I puked under in the back of his seat, and I put it under the
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 mat
mat.
in a Ferrari?
Yeah, and I was like I went "Ooh," and I covered it with the mat, and Tommy turns around, he's like, "This is dope, right, dude?" I went, "Yeah." And you could see pictures online, dude. You could look, you could see how my face is like gray when they took the pictures. I just look a mess. Like, oh, yeah, that was not a fun day. I don't even remember go like look. I didn't look out the window. I just remember the feeling because my eyes were closed, kind of like being on a freaking roller coaster, you know. But there's no guarantees in a car, like you know what I mean. There's no guarantees in a NASCAR. It wasn't even like a certified like those cars that have the huge wheels that stay on the freaking track. Like this was like a Ferrari, like just like a street Ferrari. Like, oh, dude, that thing was like a rocket, bro. Like I was pinned to the seat. Oh, just awful.
You look like you're getting queasy now just thinking about it.
Oh, right. Oh my goodness, dude. And yeah, another cool thing was they had uh these two like 6'4" twin models. They were identical twins. They wanted me to like between them, no, not like that, but between them walking down the track with two horses that had Rockstar Supernova like banners on them. It was so cool, dude. It was so cool. A little too cool for me because I was like, this is a lot. Like, I don't know if like, what do I do? And I'm looking up at the girls like super tall. I'm like, this is cool, eh, girls? This is cool. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, yeah.
You feel like a child between the tall women and the big
Yeah. And I'm
horses.
like holding their hands, like, yeah, like I was like a little dwarf.
Yeah, not all species are created equal.
Right? Yeah. Bro, that was fun, man. That what a memory. Holy shit.
You performed on all these TV shows like Ellen, Regis and Kelly, Jimmy Kimmel, Entertainment Tonight, Howard Stern. How different is it playing on TV to just playing a regular concert?
Television, there's no two takes. There's and there isn't like any effects or nothing like that. No cover up. You if you're shitty, you're shitty. Um, so that's pretty daunting, you know? Like Regis and Kelly, man, I don't even think I slept that night. I mean, yeah, it was brutal. I mean, Tommy, I remember the piano in there that we had. I went over to before we started, and he has pieces of tape to where he knows where to hit the notes. And it hit me. I was like, oh, that's because if he hits the wrong note, boom, you know, at least he had the tape. I didn't have no tape for my voice. I'm like, oh,
And are they always filmed early morning or are they
oh
sometimes
yeah,
during the
dude.
day?
I was in Regis's bathroom warming up, oh, like that, and my voice it wasn't opening up. It was like 6 a.m. I'm like, holy shit, bro, this fucking sucks. It's way different
Number
than
one,
play.
is it super early, which isn't conducive to a great vocal. You only have
Yeah,
one take, and you normally either don't have a crowd at all, or if there's a crowd, it's not your fans that are going crazy and giving you energy. It's
no,
kind of these stale plants that are there.
exactly. Like, yeah, Ellen DeGeneres, that was so weird because a few months before that, I was sitting on my couch in Toronto watching her show, and you think like when she's like, when she walks out, everyone's like, screaming. Dude, when you're on that set, it's like there's probably like 50 people, and they're all like borderline grandparents. Yeah. Oh, when after my interview, like the laughing and stuff, like those people weren't laughing. That was like some freaking sound bite they have. Like it's trickery, bro. It's trickery. So yeah, that was really and so bright. Like the lights were like so bright. You almost have to squint, but you're gonna be like that the whole interview. It's just weird, man. It's a weird universe, television.
The band was supposed to be called just Supernova, but then it turns out that there was another band called Supernova that had already had a few years of experience. And is that how you guys ended up as Rock Star Supernova? At least the name is still cool.
Yeah, yeah, man. That was a big faux pas on whoever was in charge of that, dude. I mean, come on, man. At least look up the freaking copyrights before you name an entire show. That's just somebody dropped a massive ball on that one, bro. I remember hearing that. Oh, we got to call the band Rockstar. I go, fuck that. What do you mean? I don't. Let's just buy the name. And these guys knew it was a show, and they were like, "No, we want like $8 million." And I was like, "Weep, million. Let's fucking call it Lucas's sandals. Who cares? I don't care. $8 million. Now, come on." And now I don't even think they're together. It's kind of like buying a website domain that might become famous, and then freaking scalping it.
This episode has been brought to you by the Women in the Music Industry podcast. It's hosted by music producer Rob Wells, who has worked with global superstars like Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande, and Selena Gomez. Through his 1-hour interviews, he shines a spotlight on the remarkable women who are breaking barriers and making their mark in the music industry. Some of his notable guests include Morgan Lander of the multi-million selling metal band Kitty, and Pam Shane, who co-wrote Genie in a Bottle for Christina Aguilera. If you're a fan of the Joel Martin Mastery podcast, you'll love the Women in the Music Industry podcast, which is available on all platforms. And how did the Rockstar Supernova, that adventure, how did that come to an end? So there was the one album, there was the tour. I'm assuming you end up getting busy. The other members are in other bands that have sold tens of millions of albums. I'm sure there's opportunities and requirements pulling everyone in every direction.
Hmm. Uh, I was kind of um, done. I mean, me and Tommy always worked together after that. Um, Still like one of my best friends. I've written on some songs on multiple of his records, but I just couldn't. I couldn't see myself doing another tour with certain members of that. Plus, I wanted to like go out and do an acoustic tour myself. Strike while the iron was hot, so to speak, and like show people that I wasn't like a television artist. Like I was like a real freaking musician. So I did like a very lengthy all across Canada, into the States, acoustic tour with a piano player friend of mine, and it was just a very intimate, dark setting, uh, which I'll never forget. It was super cool, man. So I didn't want to. We did what we had to do, um, but I had a lot more I wanted to do. You know.
I have some kind words sent in from one of your BFFs. This is from Sal Costa, former member of My Darkest Days, and now a member of your new supergroup Wrecking Room. Sal says, Lukas is my brother from another mother. There are a lot of amazing singers out there, but Lukas is from a different planet. He has all the qualities you could ever want in a frontman, and he's by far the most talented vocalist I have ever worked with. That's from Sal.
Oh wow, I love you, bro. That's wow. That's really fucking cool. He's kind of yeah, he's the same, man. I don't know. God did that too. There's no way. Like we're both from the same town and same freaking country. Uh, started music generally at the same time. Knew of each other, but not. We just didn't cross paths. We didn't scissor, so to speak. Yeah, and I went through all this years, 25 years later. Um, my wife lived in Florida. I ended up moving down here from Nashville. Um, and he lives, and I was doing a show I play live on the weekends on this website, Stage It. And I play just my like live stuff. And, and I was making an advertisement for it. And I put it up on, I think it was Instagram. And Sal commented, he's like, dude, freaking good to see you, man. Like, give me a show. And I was like, oh, fuck. Fucking Sal, dude. That was the good looking guy in My Darkest Days. I remember that. He's fucking rad, dude. and and I reached out to him, and he's like, I go, yeah, I'm in Florida. He's like, me too. I was like, the fuck? What do you mean? And he's like, he lives freaking 20 minutes from me. I go, no, what the frick, bro? And we were both kind of in this lull of like, I guess just I was doing my painting and designing, and he was taking a break from his music, and all of a sudden we just somehow, like, that's a billion to one, man. That just doesn't happen. You know what I mean? So we just freaking met up. We had dinner at this beautiful Italian restaurant, me, my wife, and him, and we just hit it off, dude. It was so natural, and it's like we've known each other for freaking 30 years. You know what I mean? Like the band member that I freaking always wanted. Like if he was in Supernova, I'd probably still be in Supernova. You feel me? Like, and we just started. Like I have a studio, like because I produce all the shit, right? And he would come over and we fucking wrote a song, and now we were like, this is pretty cool. And then now, shit, 6 months later, we have an entire record, which I think is some of the best stuff I've done, and I think, I can't speak for Sal, but I think he would feel the same way, man. It's pretty fucking rad, it's pretty rad. I can't wait for y'all to hear it all, man.
What are the
So I love
chances?
you, Sal.
All that to say, I love you, Sal. What are the chances that two Italian Canadian rock stars end up in the same area of Florida?
It's not even, you couldn't, if I were to say that's gonna happen 30 years ago, you go, bro, if that happens, I'll shoot a purple midget out of my butthole. That's how fucking not possible. You know what I mean? Excuse my French.
We're going to dive into Wrecking Room and what's going on with the band. I just have a couple things first, and then we'll get to that. So I want to talk
Yeah.
about the Halo method for a second. Can you share with our listeners a little bit about Halo method? There's another rock star in this group.
The Halo method. Yeah. That's when I lived in Nashville, I started uh actually Dave Buckner and Ben Moody, Dave from Papa Roach and Ben Moody of Evanescence. They were buds, and they were deep. Ben had a bunch of music, and they were chatting, and Bucky, I guess, told Ben, he's like, dude, I think I know a fucking dope singer that would we should reach out to my friend Lucas. And they did, and we uh we wrote a fucking unreal record, man. Like unreal. Kind of like the same thing, but not as like miraculous as like this whole Sal and myself thing. But yeah, we did a record pretty quick, and we were on the radio immediately. I think the first song I went in, Ben had this bed track, just like music, and he hadn't had his vocal booth set up, so I just put the mic in one of his bathrooms, and I just sang what came to my head. And there was a song called Porcelain, and dude, like, I think like a few months later, it was on the radio and in all over America. I was like, what the fuck? Like, super, super rad. I've been so blessed to meet and work with and um, so many amazing musicians, man. Like Daylight Division was also Buckner and Marcos Curiel from POD. And we just actually dropped that. I think it's 7 songs we did years ago. Same thing, like just blessed to meet these wonderful gentlemen and to create music with them because we're from totally different backgrounds and styles and such. Um, but I think it's the heart that brings us like that's why we got together, man. It's not necessarily about the tunes. The music is a super bonus. It's about the individuals, I think, because if there was no music with any of these gentlemen, it'd still be just as awesome meeting them and knowing them to this day, you know. Super, super fucking cool, man.
Behind me, this is my wall of fame. These are my favorite albums from guests that I've had on the podcast. And I have the Papa Roach album here because I had Dave Buckner as a guest a few years ago. And
Yeah,
a few months ago, I had a FaceTime call with Ben Moody, and he's supposed to come up as a guest on the podcast as well. So I'm just here collecting all your band members over the years to do interviews.
that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Give virtual hugs and kisses to Ben for me, man. He's like an elusive sand spider. He pops up and then he goes under. Pops up and then he's gone.
He pops up just to drop a hit record and then he'll disappear for 5 years.
That's right. That's right. What else to do?
In 2015, you released a rock cover of Adele's Hello that became kind of the definitive edition, the definitive heavy edition of that song. Can you share when you started covering it, how that actual version of it came to be, what it was like when it started to take off and go viral?
Yeah, well, I just moved back to LA, um, and my ex at the time was listening to Adele's record nonstop. It just driving me mental. I was like, oh, this stuff is just makes me want to freaking eat ice cream all day and not do anything and just freaking browbeat people online. You know those type of people. You know, just depressing album. Like, and I heard that one song, "Hello," and I'm like, this is garbage, but I can make this cool. I think because the song is the lyrics are pretty real, dude. Like everyone's kind of been through that shit. With the necks and like the awkward like or running into them, meeting them, or and just like what do you talk about? Like, so I just had to turn that into like me, at least my interpretation of it. I had no clue it was gonna like go viral and that, but people want what they want, man. It's a roll of the dice, as they say. You can be viral one second and nothing tomorrow, Super blessed to have that happen, dude. That was really cool. That was really cool. I was like, What do you mean? I didn't even know what viral was because I'm not like that type of, that dude who's like, oh, gotta go viral, gotta come up with the latest like freaking cool
Trend.
thing to post so everyone follows me and shit. I could give a fuck. But that just went crazy. I think it went to like past 1 million in like under a week. I was like, are those real numbers? Like I had to keep like refreshing,
What does this even
you know?
mean?
Yeah, yeah. And then my ex at that time and all of our friends were tripping out. And then it hit me and I was like, there's that responsibility coming back, like how do I even talk about it? It's like, I don't know. Do I tell the truth? I thought the song is freaking lame and I wanted to see if what it sounded like in my brain recorded. So I recorded it in like an hour and that's it. And I got my friend to come over to just film me singing it because there's like rules about you like publishing and stuff like that. So I bought a license for it. Um, but you can't basically put it out unless you're covering it, like singing it live, you know? I don't know, it's a stipulation with YouTube and that. So I had to like basically pretend to sing it um live in the video. And I get people, it was funny, I remember one of the comments was, why are you using those headphones in the video? Those are shitty headphones. It's bleeding into your mic. I'm like, dude, I'm not singing in the video. You're not hearing the freaking audio from I don't know. That was just ridiculous.
I remember back 11 years ago when you covered that, there was a list that went viral and it said, here we've collected the 20 best covers of Adele's Hello. And that's how I found out about your cover is you were on the list of one of the 20 best covers of it, and yours stood out because it was the best heavy version of it that had come out.
Oh, right on. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I've seen a couple of people reviewing it. I love seeing their facial expressions when that chorus comes in because it seems like these review people, they love to, I guess their shtick is to just say something negative. Most of these people aren't even musicians, so it's so intriguing to watch their like, like what do I think? Um, Little do they know, I don't give a shit what you think. I just wanted to hear it recorded from what I heard in my brain. It was not a competition. There's too much out there for anything to be a competition. If you think you're winning, you're way wrong. So don't try and win. Just do the music you love, and hopefully it touches somebody. That's it. The puck stops there, right? Boom.
I think a part of what worked in your favor is the verses weren't that far off of what people expected from that song. So if they're listening for the first time, it's like the expectation is here, but then you hit them with that high, heavy chorus, and you're probably getting the reaction in real time that they're like, oh shit, this is awesome.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. True. You don't want to alienate. You don't want to totally mangle a song. I mean, a lot of people get a lot of notoriety from, doing a death metal version of a freaking Disney song. But I'm not that. I don't use quirkiness to become famous or to get notoriety. That's not real, man. That's like a game. That's just stupid. So I just wanted to keep a little of, the beauty of what Adele was doing because her voice is just it's unbelievable. And the lyrical content of those verses is not meant to be screamed or yelled or anything like that. But the chorus is saying something. So I had to say something, I guess, tonal wise, tonality wise.
The band that I've interviewed that has sold the most albums is Queensryche. They've sold 30 million albums, and you've written two songs for Queensryche or members of Queensryche. How does that come to be?
Jeff Tate, Jeff Tate's team reached out to me. I can't remember how. I was in Nashville and he was playing a show down at one of the stadiums there, and he invited me to come out and sing Silent Lucidity with him. And I remember going like, oh, that song is, I love that shit, dude. Like, I don't know who Queensryche is at all, but I remember when I was on tour doing that acoustic tour, my ex would play that song and I was like, this sounds like Pink Floyd, but is this Pink Floyd? She's like, no, it's Queensryche. I was like, this is a good song. Like,
That's their
sick.
signature song too.
So, yeah, dude. So Jeff had me out and we did that and we just became friends and he invited me out down to his place and he just wanted to pick my brain and he was like, how do you get those awesome guitar tones you do on your records and stuff? And I was like, I don't know, dude. But it's just my studio. Is like, can you help me build a studio? And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. So we went to Guitar Center and I got him all the cool shit that whatever that I to like start him off because I kind of taught him like how to do that stuff. He knows his way around, but in his own house, we just built his studio together, and I was supposed to produce his record, but I guess somebody outbid me, and that it happens, But he's a good chap, man. I've seen him on Shiprocked, and wonderful family, man, good people.
In 2022, 3 Days Grace released this hit single, Neurotic, that features one Lukas Rossi. And what people don't know is that song goes all the way back to 2016. Can you share the story of that song leading to what people know as a 3 Days Grace song, which is actually a Lukas Rossi song?
Yeah. It's pretty cool. I was in my studio in Nashville, and Neil reached out to me that he was coming to Nashville and wanted to write some music together, right?
And Neil is the drummer for 3 Days Grace, just so everyone knows.
Yes, Neil Sanderson, yeah. And he came out, and we wrote two songs, Neurotic and My Euphoria, which is another story. But yeah, we did Neurotic, and we also did a music video for it in my garage in California. Like a year later, he flew out, he was down, and then I got my friend to come over and film it. It was really cool, man. We actually we started a group, which was short lived because I guess I don't know, who knows. Yeah, we did that song, and then years later, he hit me up. He was like, 3 days wants to use the track, and I was like, rad, that's awesome, fucking right. And they had me guest on it. I went down to California. I went to Howard Benson's studio, who's a wonderful guy. I love Howard. Killer studio and great time. I went in there and I sang my part. And it's pretty cool. I came out of his vocal booth and Howard was like, you have such an interesting, different voice, kind of like Maynard. And I was like, whoa, never heard that before. That's really cool. Like first time meeting him, right? So it was really cool to hear that from, someone like Howard Benson. He's freaking legend, dude. It was cool. But yeah, man, that song was written years before, and then to be one of their singles. So super blessed for having that opportunity,
Howard Benson actually provided a quote for my last interview when I had Sonny from POD, because their breakthrough album, The Fundamental Elements of Southtown, that came out in 1999, that was Howard Benson's first gold and platinum album. So he provided a quote. So it's kind of cool that Howard keeps coming up in these interviews just to show that he's worked with so many incredible artists. And I have a fan, not a question, just a comment. Mike Streer says the original version of Neurotic was fire.
It had a little more synth, a lot more of me in it, obviously, because I was the only one singing it, but it was different. It was different, man. I had to take down that video because of I got divorced and all that shit, and people try and take shit from you that doesn't belong to them. So long story short, she didn't get away with it. And but that would have been I think that probably would have been at for 10 million or something by now. But it's not about those. It's not about that, man. It's about, like I said, it's the journey. You know, it's just a blessing to even to be able to write music. To this is my life, and I don't have to go to bag groceries. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying this is such a blessing for me, man.
We've gone from your earliest musical memories all the way through up to where we are today. I want to spend the final 30 minutes here talking about Wrecking Room. So we've already touched a little bit on the band. So at the end of 2025, you guys announced this new supergroup. Again, there's current default bass player Dave Benedict, former My Darkest Days guitarist Sal Costa, and former Saint Asonia and Finger 11 drummer Rich Bedeau. That's the supergroup. And I have some kind words from Rich Bedeau himself and my twinsies. Rich says, I've watched Lukas from afar for years. When I saw his version of Radiohead's Creep, that's back to Rock Star Supernova, I thought, oh man, this guy's going to win the whole thing. And he did. Finally, meeting him in person was everything that I expected and more. I walked into his house and he was nowhere to be seen. I said, Luke? He came flying out of his room with a black robe and he yelled, how's your cock? And he gave me the biggest hug and he squeezed my ass. We busted out laughing and I knew I had a friend for life. That's the thing about this project that's different. It's four guys that are genuinely feeling comfortable and enjoying each other's company. Because of that, the music comes naturally. Luke is the real deal as an artist, but even more importantly to me, he is a good man with a true heart. And trust me when I say in this business, that's not the norm. Love you, Lukas, and look forward to whatever the future holds for us. That's from Rich Bedeau.
I love you, Richie. I feel the exact same way. And by the way, he said his cock was doing well
He left that
for
part
all
out
the
for
ladies
some
at home.
reason.
Yeah. Well, I filled in the blanks. I have not seen it, nor do I need to, but that's something I always say that's a way to test, I think, test people to see how far you can go. Because my personality is just outlandish, man. Everything in good fun. Yeah. So I walked out and I was like, how's your cocks? And he smiled and and I knew this is my brother for life. He wasn't all like, what?
He passed the
That's
vibe check.
weird. Yeah, exactly. I've because I've had one or two people be like, "What are you, gay, man?" I'm like, "What?" Even if I was, which I'm not, even if I was, like, why would you say that? Just be like, don't say nothing. If you're taking that seriously, man, I don't know how you made it through life, Holmes. You know what I mean? Jesus. How is your cock today? That's my next Instagram post. Like that.
You're going to have to tag me in it. I'll share it as well. The band has released two singles so far, Wrecking Room and I'll Stick Around. Our listeners, if you haven't heard the music yet, go check it out now. How would you describe the sound to people that haven't had a chance to check it out?
It's rock and roll, man. I, it's definitely not this new metal shit. Which is just, I'm not gonna be that guy who like slags on new metal, but I just can't tell what band is which anymore when you listen to the radio. It's just like sounds like the same record for as long as you listen to the radio till you turn your car off. Like I don't know, all the singers sound the same, all the lyrics are all these like it's always like dark and like emo, and I don't know. I don't know. There's no identity anymore, man. I think the only thing that's making it that's stayed anywhere is just legacy bands. Um, so the music to me is I wanted it to be like the stuff we love, man, like 90s, early 2000s. When we had like when we had posters on our walls of like, remember back in the day, like freaking Stone Temple and like Pearl Jam era and like The Cure and shit like that. And I think we've taken all of the things that we love, and borrowed a little of those tasty ingredients, um, but did it from our hearts, man. And you know, this I've I've never recorded a record this quickly. I think just because it's meant to be, man. Like there was no like, oh, what do we do for this chorus, or like we should let's bring out the fucking thesaurus and fucking write some catchy flip phrases like Meh. No, that's not music, man. That's called trickery. You know, we're not writing songs for Britney Spears. You know, we're writing fucking songs that if we ever did, you know, get opportunity, or if we ever did hold a Grammy in our hand, it's not about the Grammy. It's about the people who it changed, it helped, you know. And for someone like myself, who's worked with thousands of amazing artists over the years that have, you know, helped teach me things, you know. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be who I am today, and my music would be stagnant and sour and probably sound like what's out there today, which I will never do. So, you know, I can't help but do that. And it's, you know, it does hold me back from, you know, a lot of people, "Oh, you should be way more famous than you are, like fucking you're this, you're that." I love you for saying that. But that's just the way it is, man. And I cannot be any different than that. I believe that you're here for a certain amount of time, and I'd rather leave behind a legacy of honesty than bullshit. That's just the way it is.
You've shared how you and Sal ended up locking arms. How does Dave Benedict and Rich Bedeau come into the picture to finalize this quartet?
That's I'm gonna call God on that one, man. You know, Sal knew right away who would be wonderful, like just be a perfect fit, personality wise and musicality wise. Like it was a no brainer, and didn't even think about it. And I trust Sal with my life, dude. When he brought them up, I was like, cool, let's meet him, dude. Let's meet him. And that's, you know, they came down here, and you know, we chatted on the phone a bunch, but there was no physical meeting, no cock talk. We didn't talk about cocks, you know. Um, yeah. And they came down here. We were supposed to film one music video. We ended up doing three. Um, and that's just because I guess we had so much. We're just like a firework, dude. We just lit the fuse, and boom, all this stuff just started, fucking ideas started to come to fruition. And we happened to have, we even used the same cameras, man. Like this camera that I'm using right now is what we filmed our video on. And it's like freaking, I believe, yeah, Dave had the same one. So, and he brought it, and we were like, oh, now we got two fucking cameras, same, you know what I mean? Like we want to do shit that's grassroots and honest and just not like overdone. We don't need strippers and fucking hot rods. We just let the music hopefully speak for itself, man, and just be honest about who we are, man. Because they should balance out, right? The music should be who the artist is you're looking at, you know. And we've been lucky to achieve that so far, man.
Strippers and hot rods are optional.
There's nothing wrong with those though. So just don't puke in the back of the hot rod doing drifting in Australia. That's the only thing.
I've now done about 12 hours worth of interviews with the four members of Wrecking Room, and I can say now from experience, all four of you guys have the same vibe, just relaxed, authentic dudes that are good people and enjoying life and stay inspired and look forward to the future with optimism. Does that feel about accurate for the four of you guys?
For sure. Absolutely, man. I mean, I cannot wait to see the boys again. We're, you know, we have management now, and we have a lot of things are moving quickly, and I just they're gonna move the way they move. Just happy that we have the record that we have, you know. That's the most important part. Well, the friendship as well. You don't want to be in a band with a bunch of fucking assholes, you know. That's not fun. Then you have this great music and you got to tolerate, you know, tolerate these personalities that you don't jive with. But yeah, man, I mean, the world's our oyster. It's ours to lose. Um, but I don't see that happening, man. I'm very much looking forward to the future, like they're saying. And um, thank you to my band for speaking so nicely of me. Yeah, so I want to ask them a question. How are your cocks?
That's just for the other members. That's not for our listeners, unless you guys want to
Yes,
chip
not
in.
for the listeners. Earmuffs, earmuffs.
Speaking of the listeners, we have a fan question from Thomas Davias. And his question is, what is the inspiration behind the band's name, Wrecking Room?
Now that, well, you know,
It's a good name for a heavy band.
it is. Well, it's exactly what you think. You know, I think the way I think of it is like what I was saying when we're playing, it's not going to be a tea party. It's going to be just like our video. It just don't be in the vicinity of any of us because shit may get bumpy, you know. If we're not like an Adele band. We're not a fucking jazz band. We came to break shit, and it's just kind of the way, you know. The music is not like soft rock, easy listening like elevator shit.
You got to be ready for the rock radiation.
Yes,
You got to let the
yes.
sonic
Fucking rock
scientist cook
radiation.
on stage.
Yes. It was gonna be Wrecking Room or Sinatra and the Billionaires. No, I'm kidding. I heard that in a movie yesterday. I was like, that would be a fucking great band name. But it's too late to change, so you're stuck with it, guys.
You guys have released the two singles, and I believe the second music video just came out yesterday or today. It's all a blur for me. You've mentioned that a third music video has been filmed. I know I'm getting greedy because you just released the second one. Do you have an idea of when you're planning on releasing the third single and the third music video?
Well, that's just gonna, I guess you'll have to just like and subscribe to our YouTube channel to find out and don't miss
Sign
any
up
of the
to our
bell
newsletter.
notifications. Yes. Smash that like. Yeah, whatever that means. Yeah, man. Soon. We're gonna let this one steep a little, and then we'll be moving on, man. More to come. More to come.
You've mentioned a couple times that there's an album. So we only know two singles. That's all we know of the band. You keep dropping, oh, the album, the album, the album. So are we expecting an EP that features these two or three singles? Are we expecting a full-length album? Are you allowed to give any kind of a time frame of when we can expect it?
Probably within the. If we're gonna keep within, most likely within the time frame we're kind of drip feeding the songs. I know I refer to it as an album. I guess I'm old school that way, but there's really no physical copies printed as of yet, but there will be. But that will be something like you could get online and what have you. But it will be mostly a digital drip feed each single, probably at a time. You know.
Can you share how many songs are complete?
Oh, at least there's got to be at least 12.
So a full
And
length.
like, there's just, yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, there's just so much. I write so much in music, dude. I mean, before we started the group, I was about to release a triple record of mine. And I got to just hold on to that, hold my hat for that. Just a lot of music, man. But yeah, there's no shortage of music in the sense. So as soon as I hear people say, "Well, when's the next coming?" Well, it's already in your inbox, babe. Smash that like.
The well doesn't runneth dry. There's lots of creativity coming on. We have a fan question. This is from Beth Foley, And she says Lucas has pulled together lots of bands throughout his professional career. The members of Wrecking Room seem to have bonded with a deep sense of trust pretty quickly, which is phenomenal. Can Lucas speak to how his prior professional experiences with pulling talented musicians together has benefited Wrecking Room now?
That's a good question. I think it's just getting to know musicians more, because musicians are quite the wily bunch, man. Very different, um, very moody, very displaced from the rest of society. So that could be a riveting and rocky road. But you learn how to steer the vehicle, you know. And I've learned a lot about personalities and ego and um, uh, fortitude, musical fortitude of people. How long, what's their endurance level? Because all those things matter, and it's always, but it's not what you're doing now, it's what you do next, unfortunately, and that's important. You don't want to invest your time and heart and bring the fans along for that ride if it's just gonna fizzle out. um and that happens. I'm not gonna say that doesn't happen and never will happen to any artist again, because it's not true. People can like move or have kids or whatever, man. um but yeah, it's taught me how to deal with musicians and just people in general, and it's taught me a lot about songwriting. That's really cool to like, not ego, but leave your opinion. Like my father always said, keep your eyes and ears open and your mouth shut. And I always thought it was like, well, what the fuck? Like, what do you mean? Like, don't say nothing, just be like a turtle. And no, I think I've learned more from that advice than anything else. My father's taught me, man. You know, you do learn from people. You can also learn that, while you're listening and not talking, that person is full of shit. But at least I heard it instead of hearing my own voice. I didn't have to wait 6 months to find out this is a tragedy. You know what I mean? So yeah, musicians have taught me a lot about just people and songwriting and what have you.
Sal provided a quote and some kind words, but he also submitted a question amongst the fans. Sal asks, I want to know who he thinks is the best looking band member in Wrecking Room. And then I commented saying, you need to specify that Lucas can't name himself. And then a fan chipped
Oh,
in. And then a fan
oh
chipped
shit.
in, and this is from Andrea Curia. She says, are you guys coming to play in Europe? For example, Germany or Slovakia or Vienna? That would be awesome. I love your music. And yes, Lucas, you are the best looking. Much love from multi-culti child from Canada, Berlin, and Slovakia, Andrea Korea.
Oh, that is so nice. Thank you, thank you. But I think gotta say
You can say yourself.
I
I'll
don't
give
know.
you
I
permission.
think we're gonna shit. What are we gonna go with? Door number I'm gonna say fucking Rich.
There you go.
Yep.
You're going for the tall and
Because he didn't
handsome.
he didn't because he didn't shy away when I said, how's your fucking cock? You know what I mean? How
That's
your cocks,
confidence,
guys?
baby. That's confidence.
He was just like, yeah, bro, it's good, man. It's good, dude. So sorry, Sal. I don't know, man. They're all just beautiful boys, man. I fucking love them to death. Although Dave has amazing eyes, bro. Holy shit. We were sitting on my couch, like right here, actually, editing one of our the first video that we did in this hallway behind me. Um, and I turned over to him and he was like, so what do you think? And I went, whoa, you got fucking beautiful eyes.
He
And
has
he was like,
majestic
thanks,
hair
man.
like a lion as well. He's got some
He
nice,
does.
nice
He
hair
does. You should
too.
see it blow in the Florida wind. When it blows in the Floridian wind, it's like It's like looking at the locks of Hercules.
It's like a romance novel come to life.
It is, yes. That there's a damsel in distress on rocks that are being about to wash her away, and he fucking throws his lock down, and she's like, "Oh boy!" She grabs it, fucking, he saves her.
Isn't this the plot of
But
Tangled?
Rich, but see, yeah, but see, if that was Sal, Sal would throw his cock out there, and then she'd go, "Oh, thank you, thank you."
And we'll just leave Rich
Just
out of it.
kidding, all you guys at home.
We have a fan question from Brittany Carter. Her question is, if you could take your current supergroup and you could add one extra member per instrument, so another guitarist, another bass player, another drummer, and another vocalist to make one ultra super group, one group to rule them all, who would you choose? So you got your current
Nobody.
Wrecking Room crew. You can double down on
Yeah.
instruments.
Oh, like having two bass players and two.
Like add, Maynard is up there with you. You guys are rocking together. Add a Flea on the bass with Dave Benedict. It's an open question. Any heroes you would
Oh,
add? You could pretend it's just for one show. You're raising money for charity. What four musicians would you add to
oh,
the to your crew?
Marcos Curiel.
POD,
Yeah. Um,
bass, drums, vocal. Who do you add?
bass. Hmm.
Someone's got to slap at the bass, like
Geddy
Dave.
Lee.
Ooh, Rush.
Slappy di Beasa. So Geddy, and then drums, fucking Dave Grohl.
Dave Grohl. And who's going to sing with you? Who's going to sing your harmonies? Who's going to scream with you? Who would you put up there? They could be your Flava Flav, just your hype man.
Oh, oh, word. Babe, who would I? Shit, she can't hear, so she said, "What do you talking about?" Fuck. But
You got to explain to
who
her.
would I have on stage with me if we had to have two singers? Who do I love? Oh, but do they have to be live?
To sing
Oh,
live? I don't know. She didn't specify. I guess you could put like Freddie Mercury or someone.
I think Scott Weiland. Yeah,
Stone
he could
Temple
just do his
Pilots.
fucking slanky, creepy awesomeness, and then like we could have both Britney Spear mics, so we don't even have to like we don't even have to pass the mic to each other. We could just fucking do that. You know what
You
I
could
mean?
dance with chairs and stuff.
Fucking have our wine and shit. Boom. You know what I mean? Yeah. And our first single would be called "How's Your Cock."
That's a recurring theme here. We
It
have
is, man. You asked for it.
I'm getting everything I asked for. We have a comment from a fan. This is from Iris Allison Van Asperen, and
Oh, I love her.
an excellent four name combo here. So Iris says, I don't have a question for Lucas. I just want to send all my love, support, and encouragement to this beautiful human being. I'm so immensely proud of Lucas and all that he's achieved, and recently with his new band Wrecking Room. Love you, Lukas Rossi, the one and only. All my love, Iris from New Zealand.
She's wonderful, man. She is so freaking cool. I actually have a piece of her artwork up in my home. She's just such a great supporter. Um, wow. Thank you, sweetheart. That's really fucking cool. See, now I'm blushing a bit, and it's not the red wine.
Might be
Look,
a little bit of the red wine, but
she made that. This is like bare hand shit. It's all like embossed and shit. Look, it's like puffy. And the heart is like a fucking puffy heart, dude. It's
there's
dope.
some depth to that.
Yeah, it's fucking super cool. Yeah, man. Yeah. See?
That's awesome. What does
I
it
love
say
my
at the
fans,
back?
man. To Lucas and Ronnie with love. So fucking rad. I gotta ask her how she did this shit. Yeah, see what I mean, man? That's what like this is why I keep doing music. Like that this came from fucking where? I mean, Have you ever been that far? I have. It's far. It's like it's the other side of the world, you know? But the heart's so close. Love you. Fucking right, bro.
So we just started
Fucking
2026. If you look at the rest of the year, what would have to happen for this to be an awesome year for you musically? So thinking of Wrecking Room, are you guys looking to start playing shows or go on tour, releasing the full album? What do you envision for an awesome 2026 for the band?
just to play music, just to play our music. You know, I mean, there's not really I don't have a wish list. I just I'm blessed to do what I do. You know, I hope we get to go out. Yeah, it'd be cool to go out. You know, I guess initially supporting um maybe like a band that we know. That'd be cool just to get our grease the gears. You know, that'd be cool. At least we know like who we're rocking with and not be all like you know what I mean. Just to play with my boys, man, and crush it as hard as we can.
You've received kind words from Sal. You've received kind words from Rich. Now we have to finish the Holy Trinity with some kind words from Dave Benedict, bass player for Wrecking Room. He says, the first time I met Lukas in person was at his house. We had already connected on Zoom when Sal and Lukas pulled me into this project. But showing up that day just felt different. He welcomed me like family right from the start. I honestly can't say enough good things about him. Lukas is hilarious, effortlessly himself, and easily one of the most delightfully quirky people I've ever met. I mean that in the best way possible. I've always believed that a little odd usually means a lot of special, and he wears that proudly. What really stands out, though, is his kindness. He has this genuine warmth and softness that just makes you want to be around him. The guy has a seriously big heart. That's from Dave Benedict.
Fuck, man. Oh wow, that's so sweet, man. I think that's why. I think that's why, like when I told you about it, like his eyes, bro. Same thing. Like you could just tell he has the sweetest, kindest eyes, you know. And yeah, I wasn't being funny or anything. Like I was just like, and his voice is so calming too. Like he's just very, um, kind of the way he just described me, which is so kind of him to say. I am who I am, and I'm glad I can be absolutely the core of myself around my boys. You know, that's super incredible. I love you, buddy. Thank you for saying that.
I think from hearing the way the other members talk about you, that you've picked the right members for this band.
I concur. I do believe that.
You've already had this lengthy career in the music industry. What's your secret to longevity, and how do you keep this fun after all this time?
We're alive. You know, when you see and hear of people passing during life, you're reminded of how precious it is to be alive, and every moment counts. Um, I don't see any form factor of depreciating the essence of who we are as humans, you know, not the pursuit of happiness, but embracing that happiness that you already have, you know. That's yeah.
When you look back on your life and career, what are you most proud of?
The lives that I've been able to help, that's the core. That is the most daunting and special thing, you know, especially looking back all these 3 decades, still doing what I'm doing and just as fiery and motivated. That's so special, you know. And and I think, you know, getting better, achieving things that I couldn't imagine I could have done years ago, you know, whether being a producer or writing songs, the bands I've been in, it's constantly progressing, and it's not like stairs you have to climb. It's an upward journey that's so cool. Um, to me, it's just wonderful, man. It's so cool. Like, I mean, you wanting to do an interview and having me on your show, that like you don't have to do that. It's wonderful that people just care and appreciate the music. That's so cool.
And now when you look back on your life and career, what are you most grateful for?
Oh, the fans for sure, for sure. Because there's fucking millions and millions of people who could do music and possibly do it better than I. But there's people who have hung in, have been a supporter of me since I started this, and they're still there. And there's always new people to inspire and to share my heart's words with.
If you could sit down next to your 10-year-old self and you could whisper words of advice, so taking everything you've learned since 10 years old, all the lessons and mentorships and experiences, the highs and lows, the successes and failures, what do you say to cute little Lucas sitting there to help guide him through this human experience?
Do what you're gonna do because you're gonna do it anyways, and try to help people along the way. The,
As we wrap up, I just want to take a moment to acknowledge you for your lifelong pursuit of mastery as a singer, as a songwriter. I commend you for having a big vision for your life, for setting goals, for working towards them on a daily basis. You've shown the rest of us what's truly possible if we really commit to that big vision for our own lives. I want to thank you for putting out great music that's become the soundtrack to the lives of millions of people around the world. And last but not least, I want to thank you for this interview, for sitting down with me for the last 2 hours. You've answered all my ridiculous questions. So, Lucas, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Brother, thank you. Thank you so much for having me, man. It's been a pleasure and honor.
You're very welcome. So, to the Lukas Rossi fans, the Wrecking Room fans, the podcast fans, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Who would you like me to feature next for a 2-hour deep dive interview? You can let me know in the comments. You can also send me an email at joelmartinmastery@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me on all social media platforms at joelmartinmastery. So I am done. I am complete. I approve this message, and I'll see you on the next episode.